Have you seen that replay, buddy?
All right, man, I'm done talking to you.
You can't be done talking to me. You're right here facing me.
I back. Trust me, I back.
Damon! 60 G's, baby!
But I'm not impressed by your performance.
It's normal. Come on, guys. It's normal.
You'll do nothing. You'll do nothing.
I'm the man of the hour, Joe. Too sweet to be sour. What you see is what you get, and what you don't is better yet. I'm the women's pick. I'm the men's regret. And if you win against Chael Sonnen, you made a bad bet.
I don't have much left to say other than you have seen nothing yet.
What's happening, Fight Week Show fans, Fight Week Show people? Then we are back with another episode of Don't Stop Shakedown. And to help me do that this week, I got my boy, the Rambling Dad. I got Crossover MMA, Kick Him in the Head Kick Podcast. And we got my boy, Adrian Rayo Sanchez. How you doing, people? Let's start with McDane. How you doing, man? How you doing?
I'm good, bro. I'm good. Yeah, I mean, it's been a good week. Can't wait to sit down, chill out with the boys. Feels like a minute since we've been on a Dust Up Shakedown, but let's rock and roll, boys. Let's get into it.
Yeah, how about you, Cross, man? You happy with the last week's result? You happy with how everything turned out, brother? How you feeling, brother?
I mean, I enjoyed the card. I didn't like who won, but, I picked the winner, so I got the point, and I'll take it.
Yo, top of the table. You ruined me with it when I went on the show on the Head Kick Pod on Tuesday night. He wouldn't stop. He loved it, you know what I mean? But yeah, how you feeling?
Oh, it was beautiful. I'm feeling good. Well, actually, I'm lying. I wrote an exam today, fucked me up, but I'm glad that talking MMA is gonna make me feel all better. So let's go. Shout out Rayo. Good to have you on the show.
What's up, guys? Feeling good. Nice to see everybody again.
Yeah, but it's always nice to have you on the show, Adrian. And we see the work that you've been doing with Yokai, your new gym, your new partnership that you've been going on with them, which we're going to touch on later on in the show. So people stick around. We're going to touch on his upcoming fight, what he's been doing with Yokai, how things been looking, even what happened with the last card, how you saw it, and what you expect from your card as well. So we're going to talk about all of that later on in the show. But we got a few topics that Leroy has put together for us that we are going to delve into. But before we go in there, I want to say sorry to everybody that had been waiting since 8 o'clock when Leroy set the time. Yeah, that boy needs to get on Apple, man. Like, Apple just fixes all them problems, you know what I mean?
And it's the takeover of the fight.
That's so cold, blooded.
These Android motherfuckers, they be hating, trying to move me up the screen. They know I got something to say. They know I'm about to cook some folks up in here, but I'm starting on this Apple shit, man. You know what I mean? You man need to fix up, man. You know what I mean? Go get on the Apple stuff, man.
Like, don't talk about fix up.
You don't need to be worrying about time zones, when the time changes, when it goes forward, when it goes backwards. But apologies that Leroy had to put you through that. Yeah, I'm naming, I'm shaming, man. You know what I mean? Leroy had to put you through that. So Leroy, on the other hand, he put some videos together for us, man. Big up yourself, Leroy. Salute to you, man, bro. You know I love you, my guy.
Couldn't put the videos together on a Mac, I'll tell you that.
Shut up, man. You know, man. Can you believe this shit, Cross? You know what I mean? This guy, man. I told you.
Dude, I don't know what's going on. I've been trying to tell them that they need to get over to Apple.
Yeah, man. They're gonna die on that hill, man. They go down on that hill. I'm telling you, man. These Android lovers. But here you go. Before we go into the topics, Ryan, did you see the last UFC pay-per-view card, Ankalev versus Pereira? What?
I caught the Gaethje fight and the Ankalev.
Tell us what you said about the co-main and the main event in itself.
Well, Gaethje, that uppercut was phenomenal. He put him out there. I really enjoyed that. That was a good fight. I enjoyed it. The Alex Pereira fight and the Ankalev, I was shocked with the result, to be honest, but I'll give it to Ankalev for putting Pereira on the back foot. He controlled him nicely, with the cage, like keeping him up against the cage and so on. But I don't know. It could have gone either way. in
I
my
mean,
opinion.
Yao doesn't think controlling your opponent is part of fighting. You know, I try to tell him, but he doesn't.
Yao
Him and Nick Osterberries, yeah, they
Yao likes
didn't
power
seem
slap, bro.
to
He
think
ain't got
that
no.
controlling your opponent is part of the fight game in the cage, and showing the judges as well, like it's part of acting to the judges. I like Adrian.
You know, like I said, it could have gone. It could have gone either way. I think Alex did well in what he was doing, and I think Anklev also had a good game plan. But he definitely showed weaknesses in Alex's game, and if you keep him on the back foot, he's going to struggle. But yeah,
But the
like I said, it
controlling
could have
part
gone
was
either way.
key. The controlling part was key to this win.
Yeah, definitely. I think so. I mean, he showed. I think I think people expected a lot more grappling in the fight, but yeah, big up Anklev. He did it. You know, he got it done. But I still think it could have gone either way. I honestly think so.
Alex Pereira stuffed 11 takedowns, by the way. 11.
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying.
11.
Like, I was shocked when I heard the result, but I think the judges probably gave it to Anklev for his attempts, his continuous work rate, and keeping him on the back foot the whole time, and that kind of maybe shut Alex down from executing maybe what he wanted to do. But still, like, I mean, if you're going to talk about control, Alex stopped the takedown, so he could have controlled the pace of the fight as well, getting Anklev to keep working the whole time. But like I said, could have gone either way. I was shocked when I heard the result, but yeah,
I'm glad you see it that way, though. You know, a real fighter, man. You know, that's how they see things. I'm glad you saw it that way. None of these guys shamelessly begging for robbery. They're begging the judges for robbery. But
Look, I just wanted a clean sweep last week. I'll be honest. That's the only thing that was motivating me.
No, even McDane was happy to concede just so you don't get a clean sweep, because we would have never heard it. Would have never heard the end of it. You know what I mean? Even though you're top of the table, you know, we're still hearing you, Yao. You know what I mean? You're still letting everybody know. But let's go ahead and go through these videos that Leroy's put together for us here. They're quite heavy on what happened last week, so bear with us, people. Let's go.
Magomed Ankalaev says negotiations for a rematch with Alex Pereira have already started, and he's agreed to it. Ankalaev said the negotiations are ongoing. At the moment, I don't know who will be next for me, but we agreed instantly. If they want a rematch, we are ready. In the same interview, Ankalaev said that the first person he called after UFC 313 was his mother. He continued, "My first call, as you can guess, was to my mother, to show my face so she wouldn't worry. Because she doesn't watch my fights, she worries a lot, so my first call is always to my mother."
Yeah, man. You lot have already heard there about the rematch. He's been quite vocal about that. But McDane, I mean, when you look at the way he built up the fight, even the way he built up the fight, the kind of mental that everybody did say, he kind of did a good job on Alex Pereira in the way he was, you know, in the way he came at him in the press conference and then approached that in the fight. But obviously saying, hey, listen, you get the rematch. And this was even before the fight even took place. He was telling you, if I beat you, I'll give you the rematch. Right? We've seen it here now. It's confirmed it. What are your thoughts on that rematch, you know, moving forward?
I don't think it's Ankalaev's choice whether he gets the rematch or not, to be honest. It's the UFC's and the fact that he was so active and so dominant for so long that he's getting the rematch, just like most active, dominant champions deserve. The only person that got screwed over in recent history with that was Jose Aldo. Yeah, I mean, he never got the rematch against Conor, which he should have got. But the rematch is going to be October, Abu Dhabi. We all know it's going to be that. And it's going to be interesting to see if Ankalaev is able to put the pressure on him and keep him on the back foot as much as he did in this first fight, or is Pereira going to come out far more aggressive from the get-go? It's going to be a very different fight. I don't think we're going to see the same thing play out, and it'll be interesting to see where this one goes. Do I think that Pereira's got the power to knock him out? Probably. But it's going to have to be one of those, like, perfect shots. Like, he hit him with some power in that fight. It didn't seem like he ever got off that shot that he seems to land on everybody else throughout the fight at all. But he also seemed a little off, and whether that's down to the smack talk, which I don't think it was, or is it down to the constant championship camps that he's been through and the amount of activity that he's had, that it's kind of taken its toll, because we've seen that in the past too. You know what I mean? So I think there's a few variables going into this one. Well done to Ankle. I have not taken anything away. I'm not sitting there shitting on the man before you start coming at me. You know what I mean? With blood clots and all the rest of it. Like, you can sit there in your little tartan hoodie, mate, and just fucking eat what I'm saying to you. But yeah, I'm looking forward to the rematch. I think it's going to be very, very different. And like I've been saying it for a long time, Ankle I have deserved his shot, and he went out there and done what he had to do.
Cross, you're a big fan of Poitin. You haven't made no secrets of it. Everybody knows how you feel about him. Everybody also knows how you feel about the daggy fighters, and which Ankalaev has been a big part on it. On the 14-fight win streak. What are your thoughts watching that fight? Because we haven't really heard from you, and people haven't really heard from you since that fight took place. You obviously had an idea who you wanted to win, but who you think might win. And how do you think the second fight goes?
So I mean, in the first fight, if we look at all of Alex's fights in the UFC, that looked like the worst version of him in any of his fights. Now, yes, some of that is attributed to Ankalaev, his game plan, how he implemented it, all of that. But on the flip side, I think Alex can take a lot of positive out of this fight. Defended all the takedowns, got hurt, didn't get finished, still stayed in the fight. And then I think a lot of people just got to look at this, because some people talk about like Ankalaev dominated Alex. This fight literally came down to the third round, one round. And in that round, based on the UFC stats, Alex landed more strikes. So, I mean, I think this fight is a lot closer than what people think. I think the rematch is going to be an even bigger fight. And then on top of it, with Ankalaev now playing the heel in the media, I think that's very good for the division. I think that's very good for his appeal, because it's putting more eyeballs on him and making people feel a certain kind of way now, and then they'll just tune in and watch the rematch.
Yeah, man. I mean, let me come to you, Adrian, because there's certain things that most, or some, I wouldn't say most, but some MMA fans actually do, in terms of a fighter lose once or twice in a certain kind of way, and they just forgot everything is done up until the time he lost. And there's countless examples that we've seen throughout, watching MMA in different promotions as well. Do you think the way people were coming down on Alex, the way he lost this fight, if you like, even though Cross is saying he's closer than it looks, do you think people are maybe forgetting the type of fighter that Alex is, and they just shitting on him prematurely, because we know what?
Look, I think maybe, first of all, like, Alex has won his fights pretty much the same way, so it is quite repetitive. But at the same time, he did do enough to stop what was expected from Ankalaev, which is a lot of takedowns, a lot of grappling, which he did do well. But like Cross says, he threw a lot of strikes, but how effective were those strikes? You understand? So you can throw 100 strikes, but if it's just put the pattern, it's not landing correctly, and you can see there's not much damage, or he hasn't put him on the back foot or changed the momentum in the fight, then how effective are your strikes actually? And the thing is, with Ankalaev shooting all those takedowns, yes, he didn't maybe land them, but by putting Alex on the back foot, he sabotaged his striking in a sense. So he couldn't get his good position where he could land that left hook or land a nice low kick. Maybe he was getting them, but it wasn't as effective as it usually is in his previous fight, So I think Ankalaev definitely had a good game plan to smother his shots. Although he never got the takedown, he definitely sabotaged him in that sense that he couldn't land the strikes that he wanted, if that makes sense, So it wasn't as effective as he usually did. So it's all a matter of opinion. But at the same time, yes, he worked harder, but did Ankalaev make him work harder, or was he like more effective in trying to be effective in what he was doing? If that makes any sense. So yeah, hopefully I want to see him grapple more. I want to see him take if in this rematch, I want to see him take it to the grapple. Maybe, you know, stop the takedown, get it, take it back position, or maybe, you know, try and reverse the momentum on a stuffed takedown, and then maybe set up for some effective striking then, instead of just trying to play it off the back foot the whole time. So let's see. And he's definitely not a guy that's going to go back to the drawing board and do the same kind of game plan. But he's going to learn from this. And like it was mentioned, there's a lot of good things that he can take away from it. And he's a champion. He was a champion for a long time and a champion for a reason. So I don't think he's going to go back and be like, let me try the same thing again, because that's not a champion mentality. He's going to learn from it. And I think maybe we'll see something different in the rematch, but maybe Ankalaev changes it up and he doesn't go for all the takedowns as much, and he maybe brings the striking in. I mean, if you look at Conor McGregor and Khabib, like, everyone was surprised when, like, it happened in that fight as well. Ankalaev landed a good shot on him that wobbled him. I think it was at the end of the first or second round when it happened. I can't remember. But so it depends on it depends on how effective you are with those strikes. And let's see. I'm sure he's going to learn something from this. The rematch is going to be good. I'm excited for it.
Yeah, man. Yao, you did a whole shama when the man was making his whole walkthrough. You did the whole celebration thing. You, man, tried to tell me Pereira was intimidating. I tried to tell you, man, don't you think Ankalaev is intimidating? You guys told me to get the hell out of here. The Ankalaev wasn't intimidating. Now we're here. We see who the undisputed light heavyweight champion is right now. And for you, what does Pereira got to do to change his fortune in this rematch that's coming up? Because we do know that rematch is going to happen. And mind you, even though Ankalaev didn't observe Ramadan going into the fight week, he has been observing Ramadan going into, you know what I mean? This time, he doesn't even need to worry about that. And he can get proper focus on this fight too. So what do you think Pereira needs to do to really turn this around and claim his belt back?
Honestly, I don't think he will. Between his 3-round battle with Jan Blachowicz and what he got up to the 4th round war with Izzy, I have never seen Pereira being beaten old. Ankalaev beat him old. At the end of that fight, he looked like he was on his way to his 40s, but Alex has always looked nice and young. And I don't know how the cage time did that, but something about him in that fight changed. And if you remember on the watch along, I said it as he was being introduced and he was doing that. I was like, but that's not Shamha. That's not the Alex that we know.
Yeah, you did say that.
And I think something might have changed. He might have just gone past that point where you just can't come back. I don't know what that point is, but honestly, for me, the fact that Ankalaev beat him old, it's just not a good sign for me in terms of the
Bruce
rematch.
Buffer introducing him as the one and only too, like only the third person he's ever done that as. You know what I mean? Like,
it's a lot of pressure, bro.
You guys maybe think that Pereira was maybe a little bit complacent and like, you know, I'm just gonna walk through this guy.
There's definitely something. There was definitely something off. I don't know whether it was complacent.
He usually got that stone cold look on his face, and he's just like, you know, he's ready to kill. And
just like real fight picks in the chat said, Alex need to turn in his passport and focus on his craft. Like, all the traveling that he was doing leading up into this fight definitely didn't add to it at all. But you know, it's just part of it, man. When you're the champion, you got all these obligations, and then on top of it, him flying to Australia to corner Sean Strickland, it only adds to it. I know he was still training, but I think for the rematch, he's not going to have all these champion obligations anymore. And I think he's going to be more focused in the gym.
Man was rolling in that snow, you know.
Takedowns. With Glover, that's right.
Yeah, I mean, look, for me, I'd even go as far as injury. Maybe it was carrying an injury. It's not telling us right now. Yeah. I'd even go as far as that. And I know I'm bragging all about Ank, and that's only because since the fight got made, I've been on that hill and nobody's been up there. Rarely anybody's been up there with maybe Basement Jacks. He did at one point. Shout out to Basement Jacks, and he talked himself out of it. You know what I mean? I lost the point in the process. I love it. But I've been on this hill and I'm saying to myself, like, this is the hardest fight for Pereira. No one's seen Pereira actually fight this guy. Where if Pereira gets past this guy, for me, I'm giving him ultimate legitimacy in my eyes. That means he's passed every single test.
Olin.
Big up Olin. Salute to Olin. That means he's passed every single test, you know, in a short period of time in the career. And I understand, you know, the sort of fights that, you know, you had to take. I understand, and that's part of the fight game. You got to pick your battles, especially when you're at the age that you're right now. Salute to Combat Sports today. Big up Combat Sports today. And that's the thing with Pereira, because his career's got a shelf life. You know, at what, 37 going 38, there's not a lot there, no more that he can really do. So Bean says here, I think Pereira's built such a rep for short notice and anytime, anywhere. He can't really be pulling out if he has a small injury, unless he breaks something big. And this is the thing, you know. And couple that with what Coach Eric was saying right there on the watch along, just the fear of level change from when Ankalaev dropped that first level change on him. That fear of level change made him maybe get gun shy. I don't know, or it could be an injury. Maybe there's something even wrong with the hand and he's not really feeling to throw it. So, but we'll find out at some point, because at some point they're gonna break it. But my game, you got something.
Man's a kickboxer, you know. Yeah, I mean, like, he's got knees. He knows how to throw a fucking uppercut. Like, you can stop the threat of the takedown with those two tools alone. You know what I mean? Like,
which he did 11 times.
Yeah, like, but that was also up against the cage and having to sprawl and then like recenter himself and just kind of hold him there and try and survive for his life. Even took him down after the bell at the end of the third, which was funny. You know what I mean, but at the same time, like, he can defend a takedown or the threat of it from faking a knee, throwing an uppercut, any one of these things. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I agree with what you're saying. I think maybe he focused too much on the grappling, on the takedown defense, instead of actually believing in his striking ability more.
Yeah.
And I like what you said there, because if you focus, so it's like he had the blinders on almost, and he just focused on a sprawl or a takedown defense instead of like taking a risk and maybe threatening a knee or threatening an uppercut, or maybe even like slipping an uppercut in or clinching up, throwing a knee. You know, it was like he was being too careful for like worrying too much about the takedown than he was. It's almost like he was worrying more about his opponent than what he was actually able to.
I mean, like Olin says there, like,
not focusing on his own craft. Like
Olin says there, like Ankalaev weren't even driving on his takedown attempts. They were just there to literally keep Alex worried about the takedown attempt threat. So he wasn't even really going for the takedown anyways. Maybe it was to shut down his offense, and Alex would have done something to counter it, like you said. He didn't, and ultimately, you know, it cost him in that fight. But you know, I want to see something different from Alex. Like, you know, you guys have mentioned it. Maybe turning takedown attempts into something else to get effective strikes, like you said. So you want to see him do something different, and I think you can. I think, you know, the people that he surrounds himself with, you know,
Aussie fight fan here saying he doesn't think Alex landed a punch in round one. That also kind of goes back to the Khalil Roundtree fight. He was real, not tentative, but it was the feeling out process in the first couple of rounds before he started actually going back. Because Roundtree was lighting him up in those opening rounds too, but it was like he was just getting the range, he was getting his time, and he was taking the reads, and then he was going for it. You know what I mean? And that's kind of one thing. Like Adrian was saying there, didn't seem like he was doing that too much, focusing on what he was going to do. He was focusing more on what Ankalaev was going to do, and it was
like striking on the breakaway, dirty boxing, like that kind of thing. You know, like he was too cautious in a sense,
and too technical.
Yeah, like he fought not to lose instead of to win.
Yeah,
exactly. That's a good point. He fought not to lose instead of fighting to win. That's
Send Alex 3 years Dagestan. Just forget it, brother.
One phone call, 6
Yeah.
months. One phone call.
All right, Leroy says Manchester United is still 2-1 against Real Sociedad, and Real Sociedad got red. Okay, yeah, that will make the missus happy. As long as Man United are winning, she'll be happy.
That's why you're wearing red, though, isn't it, bro? Yeah, I mean, that's the real reason he's wearing.
Man, hey, come on, man. I saw red all the way, man. What's wrong with you? You know what I mean? But happy birthday to wifey, man. You know what I mean? If you're watching, happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
I love you, baby. All right.
I love you too.
Yes.
Birthday drink on me in London.
Yeah, I told I passed that message on to her yesterday. She's like, oh yeah, okay, he's on. Yeah, man. We're looking forward.
I'm not making any drunken bets, so I know she takes money off of my.
Can we just say something about that spinning wheel kick, that spinning back kick knockout?
Oh god, damn. Pre-show
that was phenomenal. That was. I loved it.
We got something coming on that, brother. We got something coming on that.
Do we? Oh, okay, cool. We're not jumping on.
All right. I wanted to get another point of view here, and I'm going to come to cross on this because this one directly kind of implicates the conversation we were having earlier on with Magomed. So let's see what video Leroy has put here for us. And shout out to Full Mount MMA, by the way. Shout out to Full Mount MMA on the videos. Go check out their page. They'll be putting out combat sport news week in, week out. They're the best in the game. Go check them out. Salute to them. All right, let's go.
Yuri Prochazka is fired back at Magomed Ankalaev, calling him a fraud. Following Ankalaev's win over Alex Bejeda, Yuri said congrats to Magomed. Beautiful pressure. Most of people don't like it, but you won the title for now. Magomed responded saying, I think you are a fraud, and so many guys deserve it more than you. You need to go win some fights. He followed up with, this guy is a terrible fighter. Yuri made an appearance on the Ariel Helwani show yesterday and responded to Ankalaev saying he doesn't know me. I don't know him personally. One thing that I can say to Ankalaev, he can think whatever he wants. But I know that the only person who is a fraud is him, because when I met him at the UFC Performance Institute in Las Vegas, he was there, very nice, friendly. Hello, nice to meet you. All good. And right now he's a superstar, big gangster and playing these games. Hyped, and I understand. He won the title against the worst performance of Alex Bejeda's career. The only fraud here is Magomed Ankalaev. Worst fighter? Every time I'm giving everything into my fights, going to finish my opponents and to give it my all. Unlike him, when he's fighting, many times in the second or third rounds, when there's a need for a high performance, he's trying to run away. So that only means one thing. The only fraud person here is Magomed Ankalaev. I'll do whatever is necessary to catch Ankalaev.
Cross, over to you, man. I don't even want to ask too many questions about that clip we just seen there. There's a lot of back and forth. There's so much to unpack. Cross, take it away, bro.
So, I mean, back to when I was saying that Ankalaev is now the villain at light heavyweight. I think it's really good for the sport because people definitely want to watch people they don't like lose. And you know what that means? They tune in to watch the fight. And then on top of it, like him talking all this trash to all these different guys, he's a new champion. It's a lot of fresh matchups for him, and he's building all the fights.
We know who was talking trash, brother. We know who was talking trash. Ali Abdelaziz on his multiple mobile phones.
How dare you? How dare you talk about dominance MMA? How dare you talk about Ali Abdelaziz? Alhamdulillah. What's wrong with you, bro? Remove that picture from the screen, brother.
Bro.
How dare you, man?
Picture? Bro. Bro. That's Ali Abdelaziz posting on every fighter's Twitter and replying to himself, trying to stir up some shit. Yeah, I mean, like, that's that man's game. He's the best at it too.
Hey, people don't do drugs. Yeah, these are the flat earthers right here. Conspiracy theorists. You know, they come up with all kind of conspiracy. Yeah. But Magdane, you got something to say about this back and forth here with Yuri. You don't really believe Ali's really saying all them things there, man. Right? But talk to me, what you think Yuri is going on about there in terms of my man's is the one running away, or because this is the one thing we hear a lot. Fighters, they mean face to face and they're nice to each other. We'll come to Adrian on that one. But then they start talking shit and they take it personally. It's a fight game.
Bro, I'm down for Magomed Ankalaev versus Yuri Prochaska. Yuri Prochaska is that unorthodox that I don't think Ankalaev's pressure that he put onto Pereira is going to go down too well. Yeah, I mean, spinning elbows coming out of the clinch and all sorts of crap. That'd be an interesting matchup to see. It goes back to Yuri's just had what 2 fights with Pereira, so and he's then just gone on to win fights after it again. So he's going to be up there in title contentions again, whether Ankalaev manages to beat Pereira in the second fight and retain the belt. Jerry's probably going to be next. You look at the light heavyweight, unless Olsberg does something spectacular. Yeah, I mean, like,
I do like Carlos Olberg's chance, though. You know what I mean?
I also don't think coming off a Yan win he's gonna get the shout. I think he still needs to get one after that.
They might do the winner versus Yuri.
That could be a shout. That could be a shout.
I mean, yeah. What do you make of all this? Because I'm looking at Yuri here, and I called it on the night because there's Cross did say there's a lot of good matchups when you look at how the division is, right? But for Ankalaev, the rematch is there. But we're looking ahead now. Maybe after Ankalaev, after the Ankalaev Pereira fight, where do we start looking for matchups for Ankalaev in the division? Because Jamal Hill is there as well.
I think in terms of Ankalaev right now, because he beat Alex, as much as we know the rematch is coming, let's presume he wins because obviously the rematch is first. If we look at the matchups, Yuri would be first if he beats Pereira. But the thing with that is, will he? Like Cross said, the spinning elbows, etc. But he still has to run it back with Yan. The problem is Yan is going to be 43 next year, I think. Yeah. So if they don't fight this year, then Yan is basically out of the picture, leaving Jamal Hill. But do you see Jamal Hill beating Ankalaev right now? No. Rakic? I mean, so if we look at it, it becomes very tough. And then you go further down. As much as Carlos Olberg hasn't earned it, the next person is Khalil Roundtree, who also lost to Pereira. So it becomes very interesting. But I would say, look, between Yuri, Yan, and Khalil Roundtree, those would be the 3 I would think would come up. Otherwise, it's going to be very difficult if he beats Alex. But if Alex wins, then it's another story altogether.
And they all have fights outside of Yuri right now. I mean, Jamal Hill, Roundtree are matched up, and then Olberg and Yan are matched up. So, you know, once all these fights take place, it's all going to unfold itself, and then at that point, we'll have a better idea.
Okay, I think we've we covered a lot on that topic there. This next topic, though, I'm going to come to Adrian first. On it. This is about Michael Bisping, man, and this brother is always interesting. But let's hear what he got to say.
Michael Bisping and Paul Felder react to King Green's brutal knockout loss to Mauricio Rufy over the weekend. Rufy secured a victory with a highlight reel spinning wheel kick in the first round, knocking Green out cold. Green is now facing a tough stretch in his career, having lost 3 out of his last 4 fights. Bisping believes the issue ultimately stems from Green fighting with his hands down, leaving him vulnerable to such strikes.
He's lost 3 out of his last 4 now, though. I mean, he got badly beaten by Jalen Turner, who we'll talk about in a bit. He also got wheel kicked last night, Saturday night. What was the other one as well? Renato Moicano.
And Patty put him out bad with the choke armbar situation.
Yeah.
Himlet. So, I mean, he's really had a really rough go. And it just shows you, man, Father Time, dude.
Yeah, and he's also had about 73,000 fights.
Yeah.
He's had a lot of fights. But the problem is for Bobby, listen, we love Bobby. We love the way he talks and his attitude. Hands low. You can't have your hands low like that. I mean, I love it. It's cool as hell when he's doing this. But
not when you got a guy that can kick like that, right? Not when you got a guy that can literally kick Taekwondo wheel kicks like that. You've either got to be all the way out. You can't have your foot up against the back of the cage and have no hands up to defend. You're gonna get cracked with something like that. So
yeah. This is the thing as well, like geography inside the octagon is so important, as you mentioned there. If you've got your hands low, if your back's up against the fence, you can't move backwards. I know it sounds so obvious, but a lot of people that don't fight and don't understand the strategies If you're against the fence, you've got nowhere to go. You can go left and right with your head or your body, but you can't move out the way. So yeah, if you want to be like that and you've got the fast enough feet, you've got to be in the middle of the octagon.
Hey, Ryan, you wanted to talk about this so bad earlier on. Magdalene told you we got something in the chamber for that one. I mean, what did you make of that finish? The finish was spectacular.
Spectacular.
What did you make of it, brother?
Well, I love a good spinning back kick. I mean, I like to throw them in sparring, and when it lands, it's like, I love it. It's one of my favorite like moves. I mean, if you look at Edson Barbosa as well, like his spinning back kick, like beautiful. I would even put it up there next to Edson's spinning back kick. But what's the first rule that they teach you as a fighter? Keep your hands up, protect yourself. And what did he do? It's basics. Stick to the basics. You know what I mean? And I'm looking at his record right now. His last 4 matches, he's won one, and that was against Jim Miller. And Jim Miller is also ancient. And the 3 losses that he had was all 3 of them were first round knockout, first round finishes. And then to go and get a spinning kick like that with your hands down, I think Mr. Green or King Green or whatever it is that he wants to call himself. I think he's not green anymore. He's not green anymore. He could be like a beigey brown now. So I think he needs to maybe reconsider his career if I was him. But he's had enough. I mean, he's like Bisping said, he's had like over 78,000 fights or whatever amount he said it was. I know he's exaggerating, but yeah, you should consider, maybe looking at something else, because yeah, you can't be losing like that. And I mean, it's first rounds, getting caught with stupid things like that. A spinning back kick like that was beautiful, perfectly timed. Like, loved it. But if his hands were up, maybe we could have seen that fight go a little bit longer.
That's the thing, though. He never has his. I'm sorry to jump in, like, and obviously, me and Cross were talking about this as the fight started, saying like, I'm hoping this is going to be a bit of a banger. Yeah, I mean, like, we thought it was going to last a hell of a lot longer than it did, but that's always been Bobby's style. Is this low hand, gritty street fighter, hang my chin out of you, torment you a little bit, and it's worked for him in the past. But you go up against somebody like this, you know what I mean, coming out of the Fighting Nerds, whoop-ah! Like, bro,
look, I mean, if I understand the style, you fight with your hands down. He's that brawler type, and like you said, he brings the street fight to the cage. But at the same time, you got to protect yourself. I mean, the whole thing about fighting, specifically striking, is to hit without getting hit. And I mean, if your hands are down, yes, you're inviting the shot in, but you got to be careful, because if you don't move out the way, and especially going back up against the cage, like Bisping said, like, you got no space, so protect yourself and get into the space, and then you can play around again with your hands down, whatever it is that you want to do. But when you're in the firing range like that, or you're in the red zone, you got to protect yourself. You have to,
I mean, MVP practically fights like that as well. And we seen that knockout there from Lehman.
MVP is a master at managing the range and the distance as well, though. Like, he's not just hanging around against the cage like that. That man's moving lateral, he's getting out of your way.
So I look at it differently, because if you look at how Rufy set it up, it wasn't just that Green's hands were down. It was first the low kick. And as soon as he feinted for that low kick, that's when Bobby dropped his hand, because his hand was there. And then as soon as he feinted, he was going to go and try and look like maybe check the low kick and go for something. And then the leg came up. So I hear you about his hands being down, but Rufy set it up perfectly.
You did mention it in the watch along as well. Yeah, I remember you mentioning it in the watch along, like, it's Rufy that actually made him drop his guard in that situation. But we've seen Green fight hands down so many times that he's almost accustomed to the eyes, but it's good that you did pick that up, that Rufy made him do that. What I was surprised about was how you haven't got that footage on your intros on your channel. You need to get that done, brother. That should be part of your intro, bro. Kick him in the head, man. That was we said even Barbosa Edson Barbosa would have been proud of that, man. You know what I mean? That was sensational. That was a beautiful.
No, it was good. It was excellent. I love it. Great.
Beautiful head kick there. Justice for the rambling dad. What justice is this man asking for? Oh yeah, that one. That one. Hey, you still remember that? You still hating on that one? Yeah.
I still don't listen to the BYM because of it.
Hey, if Bisping, if you know why you lost the view, yeah, you heard it here first, yeah.
Yeah, bro. Should have come on the podcast like you said you would, bitch. Yeah, I mean,
tell him again.
I'll tell him in London when I see him.
That'll be fun.
I'm gonna be there to see that shit. Okay,
How dare you stand up the Rambling Dad channel?
I know, yeah.
I mean,
shit. Right, we got this next video here.
I got one eye too, brother.
And yeah, we go come to Yao on this one and hear what Yao thinks of this little video that Leroy has put together. Let's go.
Alexander Volkanovski is set to face Diego Lopez for the vacant featherweight title at UFC 314 next month. Despite suffering back-to-back knockout losses to Islam Makhachev and Ilia Topuria, Volk remains confident heading into the fight, promising fans that they will see the best version of him this time around. Speaking to Engage, Volk said, "I think I could beat Diego everywhere. He's dangerous. He's going to be dangerous everywhere, so I need to sharpen up everything. Even if I want to go the wrestling route or grappling route, I think I dominate there anyway. Everyone knows him for his jiu-jitsu, but trust me, I ain't worried if it goes there. Can he handle the fact that even when things are going his way, I ain't quitting? I'm coming back even stronger. I don't even think he'll get me there, but even if he does, I think he's still going to absolutely hate being in these positions because he's going to realize I can't stop this guy. I'll show the world and him that I'm just different. UFC 314, you're going to see the Volk that you guys are used to. Trust me, he's coming back and he's getting that belt back."
Yo, is this your potential dog of the week? Talk to me, man. How you feeling about this matchup, bro? Tell the world.
Unfortunately, at this point, the Volk that we're used to is the Volk getting KO'd. So he shouldn't say that.
No.
Oh my God.
He was talking so much smack.
Cross. You want to jump in?
Yeah. So for me, I think Alexander Volkanovski's the better fighter overall skill set, but the issue with Volk is his chin is gone at this point. Coming off 2 back-to-back brutal KO losses, Diego Lopez doesn't have the same type of boxing as Ilia, but he definitely has power in his hands. And if the fight goes to the ground, Diego Lopez is definitely very dangerous on the ground. So I think in this fight, man, Volk is gonna have to be very careful because he can't get hit clean anymore. He just can't eat shots like he did earlier in his career. And when you're in that situation, man, it's a very tough position to be in because at some point you're going to get hit. And if his chin isn't the same, Volk isn't going to be the same fighter that we all used to see just have these amazing fights.
I mean, look, I'm wearing my boy's hat, Brian Ortega, right here, right shotgun with me on my bus when we go, right? But he puts Volk into these positions. He took him to T City. Not many people's gotten out of T City, bro. Volk got out of T City and put hands on Brian. I mean, he bit the brakes off him when he got out of that submission move. Adrian, do you see, because people are saying his chin's gone, he's just been knocked out back to back by Islam and Ilia Topuria. But what do you think Lopez chances is in this fight against Alexander Volkanovski?
First of all, Diego Lopez is a big motherfucker for featherweight. He's my height. He's 1.8. He's my height. So he's big. He's huge. Volk's like, it's like, I don't know if you saw the face. I'm sure you saw the face, but it's like,
yeah,
this height discrepancy is massive. I like Diego Lopez. I like the way he fights. I don't know. Volk's also, I think he's on the other side of the hill now. 36 years old. Diego Lopez is in his prime. maybe the experience that Volk has can work in his favor. But once you've been cracked once or twice and in succession, like Volk, chin can be worrying. But Volk does have that dog in him, and you never know. Maybe that dog's not dead yet. He might still have a lot of bite left. And Diego, not having as much experience, might not anticipate it as much. But let's see. It's going to be a good fight. I love Volk, but I'm with Diego on this one. I'd like to see him get it.
Hey, you know what? Leroy ain't gonna be happy with you, man. You're dead to Leroy.
No, I love Volk. Volk's
right
good. Volk's the man. But I mean, he's got what? He's got his third daughter on the way now. I mean, just think about being a father more than a fighter, But one for old good time's sake, I wouldn't mind seeing him win. But I think Diego's gonna take it. I think he's got it.
mean, McDane, you've heard what these guys have got to say on the Diego Lopez situation, but Volk seems confident, man. And the Volk that I used to rate, pound for pound king for a good number of times, held that division well, looked after the division. I liked his reign, and these are the things that's now bothering me with these new champions, man. They fucking they get in the belt.
I just don't want to see. I just don't want to see the same thing happen to Volk that happened to Tony, man. You know what I mean? I don't want to see that.
You're in that same.
I don't want to see that happen.
You just pissed Leroy off, bro. I don't care what MMA got to say.
I told you, Leroy is gonna get you, bro. I told you.
I had to throw some fuel somewhere on the fire. It's like what I wanted to say about Yuri. Did you guys count how many times he said fraud? You see, like, I think he's just trying to stay relevant, man. I mean, come on. Anyway, off that topic. But yeah, let's see. I think it's still going to be a good fight between Volk and Diego. It's going to be good.
Yeah, man. But McDane, your thoughts?
So as our man Owen here says, his chin isn't gone. He fought Islam, who's incredibly underrated kick power, and Tapology can knock out anyone if he connects. But as my man Crossover then just said, exactly, Owen, he took those shots clean, and no way his chin can be the same. There's absolutely no way his chin's going to be the same from taking those shots as clean as he did. You mentioned a second ago, Owen, that he seems very confident. He seemed very confident going into that second Islam fight. He seemed very confident going into that Tapology fight. As Rayo just said, the size difference is going to be huge. And that
Allen likes to fight in the pocket.
And I know he likes to fight in the pocket. No. But you're not considering the smothering he's going to get from Diego Lopez. Diego Lopez doesn't start off slow. He's at that center straight away. He's meeting you right there, and he is gunning you down from the get-go. Yeah, I mean, this man is going to piece him up, and he's going to piece him up quick. And if it does go down to the ground, I think Volk's probably are going to be rocked enough to actually get submitted if it does. The size difference and the weight difference is really, really going to play a difference in this game. Like, I think it's Lopez's title to take. I really do. I really, really do. And I love Volk. You know what I mean? Like, he's unbelievable, man. Like, the shit that he done. I never even liked Volk after what he done to my boy Max for ages. You know what I mean? I was like, man, fuck that guy. You know what I mean? But obviously you've got to give him respect where it's. But nah, I think Lopez is just going to run away with this one.
All right, let's get one more.
I don't think it's going to be a runaway though, but I think it's,
like Volk's got the experience. He's got the determination. I know what you're saying. I think the size, the pace, the speed, and the power.
I just think the size difference has never been a problem for Volk. Is what I'm trying to like.
Because he's been a short man all his life. I know what you're saying.
He went up there to fight Islam. Islam's bigger than him. Like fucking he fought Max Holloway 3 times. These guys are bigger than him. Brother,
yeah, but you got to realize he's not the same guy anymore.
He's bigger than him. Huh?
You know, he's not the same guy anymore. He's not that same guy that fought Islam in the first fight. That guy's gone. Won't ever be coming back.
Them 2 knockouts, man, and this is what I was trying to say to you, Adrian, earlier on. A fighter gets 2 knockouts, and all of a sudden, this.
Anyway, let's move on to the next fight, people.
Ah, damn it.
He just took himself out of the game after I added him back to.
You fucking wanker. You fucking wanker. Yeah. Yeah, all of a sudden they just forget, what this guy's done. That's what I'm trying to say. He's been knocked out twice.
No, I agree with you, man. Like,
come on, let's look at his
one or
work.
two losses can't change a man's career. You can't forget about what he's done. But this is a fight game. Things change on a dime. You can be winning 5, 6, 7 fights, and then it just takes one bad loss and your momentum just shifts. And doesn't matter. I mean, look at Tony. That's what I'm saying. I don't want to see that happen to Volk. I like Volk enough not to see him go that way. But hey, I guess everybody eventually goes over the hill. But I don't know. Maybe that, like I said, maybe that dog inside of him isn't dead yet, and it can still bite. And confidence is confidence, and words are words, but actions can be different. Once you get in the ring, how you feel on the day could be different.
Listen, different. I'm not even here caping for fucking Volkanovski. Like, since Volkanovski beat my boy Brian Ortega, every time he's been knocked out, I've been happy about it. You know what I mean? I'm low-key happy about that shit. Like, I've been celebrating that shit. So don't think I'm over here feeling sorry for Volkanovski, but I don't want to be biased and just say the guy is washed just because he's been knocked out a couple of times. Like, that's crazy to me, based on the work that he's done. But like you said, as a fighter yourself, things can turn on a dime, and I accept that and understand where you're coming from. Right.
What do you think about Diego Lopez almost knocking out Brian Ortega and then waking him up with the next punch, and they're fighting the first round?
Yeah, he didn't finish my boy though. He didn't finish my boy.
He knocked his ass out.
Hey, he knocked him out and then woke his ass up.
He woke up. He didn't stay sleeping. You know what I mean? He woke up, bro.
There's no gray area with Ole. He's either for the guy or he's not. There's no gray area. It's like, I'm either with him or I'm not.
Diego Lopez is a dangerous son of a gun, man. I know
you want a little side action on that fight? Or
didn't you just hear what I just said about Diego Lopez, bro? Like,
that's what I thought, brother. That's what I thought.
And like I said, I don't give a fuck if
back in your box, bro.
I don't care if you knock Volk out. Like, I'll be secretly happy about that. You know what I mean? I'll be secretly happy about that. So me and Brian are gonna be sitting.
Man doesn't want this money. That's all I'm hearing. That's fine. No problem.
Oh my days. All right, let's get this last video in here by Demetrius Johnson. I will come to you cross on this one. Let's go.
Khamzat Chimaev has named Kamaru Usman as the toughest opponent of his UFC career thus far. The two faced off in October 2023, with Usman stepping in on short notice. Despite the circumstances, the fight was highly competitive, with Chimaev securing a victory via majority decision. Khamzat said probably it was Usman. He defended my wrestling very well. His wrestling is good. He defended my takedowns well. He didn't let me choke his neck. I tried to choke him for 5 minutes, but his defense was too good. So yeah, it's probably him. Demetrius Johnson has explained why a potential fight between him and TJ Dillashaw never came to fruition. At the time, Dana White was pushing for the matchup when Johnson was the flyweight champion and Dillashaw held the bantamweight title. However, Dana previously claimed that Mighty Mouse refused to fight Dillashaw.
I think that a fight between him and TJ Dillashaw would be something that people would actually be interested in. And could sell pay-per-views and could make money, but he absolutely refuses to fight the guy.
In a recent appearance on the Jackson podcast, Mighty Mouse clarified that he was in fact willing to face TJ. He explained that he requested a specific clause in TJ's contract to address the situation if TJ couldn't make weight. Unfortunately, the UFC rejected this request, which ultimately prevented the fight from happening.
We knew TJ Dillashaw could not make 125 healthy. Like, I knew it. He's already shredded as at 135. So for him to lose 10 more pounds healthy with no help, it's impossible. I knew he couldn't make it, right? So when we threw in a contract, we said, okay, if TJ Dillashaw does not make weight at 125, we don't fight for my belt, we fight for his belt. The UFC said, no, not happening.
Wow.
And I said, I have no leverage here.
Wow.
I have no leverage whatsoever here. I mean, right now, that's why we won that lawsuit.
Yeah, let's go to the first part of that video, and then we touch on the second part, because the first part was the Chimaev acknowledging that Usman is his toughest fight so far, and that makes me happy. You know, that makes me happy. But I want to see what you think about that, because I know how you think. You know what you think about Chimaev as well. But let's hear your thoughts on it.
I mean, it makes total sense. I mean, you know, Kamaru Usman, former champion, probably the second greatest welterweight
Another
of
one
all
they said
time.
is
It makes
washed.
total sense. Took the fight on short notice. And then, you know, gave Chimaev all he wanted, even though Chimaev was very close to getting the finish in the first round. Yeah, the Gilbert Burns fight, but I think at that point in Chimaev's career, he was so young, didn't really have any type of fight IQ, hadn't really dealt with any adversity. So he definitely learned from that. But as far as like opponent, the caliber of his opponent, for sure, Kamaru Usman.
Yeah, man. McDane.
Although we can't forget Gilbert Burns.
Yeah, hold on, yeah, because I'm going to come to you on that one. McDane. I mean, we took a bet on that fight, which to this day still pisses me off.
To this day, the £50 is still in my PayPal account. I've still not even spent that shit, brother. That's sitting there as a lot of
That
trophy.
fight needed 2 more rounds, bro. I swear to God, man. That fight needed 2 more rounds. That's all it needed. It shouldn't have been a 3-round fucking race. It shouldn't have been a 3-round fight. That fight needed 2 more rounds. It needed a 5-rounder. And I think the result could have been very different. But the could should have been, it's not what we're talking about here. But when you hear Chimaev saying that's his toughest opponent to date, what are your thoughts on, you know, what he said there and where his career could go from here, especially looking at that 185 division that Dricos is ruling?
Why are we talking about this fucking fight when this was a clip about the GOAT, Demetrius Johnson? that's
video with it. Video.
I'm just winding you up. Just winding you up. I've got you £50, brother. Shut up. It was his toughest fight. Yeah, I mean, Gilbert Burns, like we said a second ago, you can't forget about him too. But yeah, my thoughts on it. Yeah, I mean, I don't know what more you want from that.
Yeah, let's talk about the TJ Dillashaw and Dimitri Johnson conversation there.
Now we go to the interesting piece.
No. I'm not going to you on that, man. Yeah, I did that. Keep talking about that £50. You might not even get.
I didn't want to talk about those fucking. I was interested in the Demetrius Johnson, TJ Dillashaw, but cool.
Anyways, Yao, as we were saying before, we got rudely interrupted by McDane. TJ Dillashaw, and Demetrius Johnson. Do you think what the UFC did there was fucked up? Because they're saying if the man don't make weight, right, it's about fight for DJ for Mighty Mouse's belt.
TJ Dillashaw.
For real.
Shit.
UFC was fucked up on that front, no?
It was a fair stipulation to put in, especially if you know your opponent can't make it. But we know what the UFC does. That's why they took so long to put Ank in front of Pereira. They protect their divisions because it's important. Otherwise, people don't watch and we lose interest. So I think for them at that point in time, apart from the fact that Dana wasn't the biggest fan of Mighty Mouse, he couldn't afford for him to be a double champion at that point in time. So he said, well, you can't hold two at once. That's not going to work for us right now. I'm not going to allow that stipulation. So from a business sense, I guess it makes sense. But from Mighty Mouse's standpoint, it also makes sense. And it is a fair stipulation. And heck, that's why he didn't take the fight. So, it's one of those things that happens in MMA. You might find like, well, the Tony versus Khabib fight was different things, but you might find that some of the fights that we really want to happen, but people don't really talk about and we don't really know why. It's simple things like that, because at the end of the day, you have to manage your career. And if you know your opponent can't make it, why would you risk now doing a catch weight or something silly? But if he can't make weight, then let's do something different. Let me make his weight. We fight. Let's go.
I mean, Adrian, you fight under a promotion over there in South Africa, EFC promotion. Do you think they do this? It's a regular occurrence where the promotion, they go the extra mile. I've seen Dana blatantly lie on Frank Ngannou on countless occasions, like Ariel dropping receipts after fucking receipts. it looks wild. The amount of times that Dana lied on Francis Ngannou. And a lot of it is I understand to protect the brand and to protect, the business side of things. Is this something that regularly occurs, in and around promotions, especially like the one that you're in? Is this something you see often?
I think to a certain extent it does. It is something that's done amongst a lot of promotions. I mean, you don't want it to just be one-sided all the time. So you're trying to groom the guys and get momentum behind certain guys. Firstly, from a marketing perspective and a business perspective, because I mean, if it's one guy all the time, people get bored of it. So they try and build up these guys so that they can, so they look after them in a sense until it's like, okay, now we're at that point where we can put these guys together, and it's not like if one guy loses, his whole career is like completely gone. It's like he can fall a few steps down, and then we can build him up again, and maybe he comes back to it. But with the case of Demetrius Johnson and TJ Dillashaw, I think they should have just made it comfortable for both fighters. Maybe thrown in a catchweight fight or something, but it's unfortunate that TJ got injured. So they should have made it comfortable for both of them, because at the end of the day, we don't care what weight they fight at. We want to see the guys fight. We want to see those two names on a bill. We want to see the two guys in a ring. Doesn't matter how much they weigh. We want to see those guys fight. So it would have been nice to see that fight, to be honest. I think Demetrius Johnson would have smashed him, in my opinion.
I mean,
they should have just made it comfortable for both of them.
Yeah, man. Cross, I'll give you last word on this one. I mean, UFC, I mean, they let Cejudo do it, right? They let Cejudo do it, and he had double champ status, where he had to, beat TJ Dillashaw. So, yeah, me neither. But yeah, he actually confessed. These are my confessions. I mean, he confessed before they could out him. That was a mad one. But Cross, I'll give you the last word on this one, man. Do you think they did DJ Mighty Mouse, they did him bad?
Oh, absolutely. I think they did him bad. And I think that stipulation by Mighty Mouse was phenomenal. I think that was very good planning by him. And in the negotiating process, the UFC could have came back to him, and if they didn't want to give him that stipulation, they could have just, like Adrian just said, make the fighter the catch weight. You know what I mean? That makes a lot of sense, because at the end of the day, we want to see those guys get in there.
You know how Dana feels about catchweight fights, though. Like, he's very vocal about it. He don't like that shit. He only really does it if he's got nowhere to go. But
okay, that's fair. Let's say they make that fight at 125, and then TJ doesn't make the weight. It's gonna be a catchweight fight now.
Mm-hmm. I see what you're saying. But will it be for the title? Will it be for either titles? A catchweight. Like, what will be the significance? Because we're defending titles at a specified weight class. So
true.
The titles wouldn't be involved, which DJ wouldn't have been interested in. Yep. Like, why would I go and fight that guy if there's no upsides for me?
And now we see why the fight didn't get made. It was just all this push and pull back and forth, and they just couldn't find any middle ground.
Yeah, I mean, I just it drives me nuts when Dana go around lying on good people. Man, DJ is an absolute class guy. When Dana go around lying on good people like that, it drives me fucking bonkers. It's crazy, but I suppose it's the name of the game. So you got to take what comes with it. Now let's come to Adrian. Adrian, you got something coming up. Before we get to what you got coming up, I want to know and let the people know, what you've been getting up to with your new gym, how things has been working out for you, all the new responsibilities that you now got, and how that's helping you in preparation for your upcoming bouts. Take it away, brother.
Man. Yokai. Cameron put the gym together, and he pulled me in and asked me to come join him as a striking coach. And he's running the grappling and the MMA side of things, and then I'm running the striking and MMA as well. And like I said backstage, that the gym just turned 1 year old now.
Congratulations, by the way. Congratulations, man.
Thank you. And well done to Cameron. And Cameron we did his first grading at the gym as well, jiu-jitsu grading. He gave out his first purple belt. So it's like all these small little milestones. We had our first amateur group of amateurs fight that was more like white collar boxing and like, just exhibition sparring with a crowd kind of thing. But we did have our first amateur fighter, also MMA fighter, make his amateur debut at PFC, which is like one of the top amateur promotions here in Cape Town. And he smashed the guy in the first round. So that was quite a good achievement for myself and Cameron. For me specifically as well, because I made my amateur debut on PFC, and to have our first amateur MMA guy fight on PFC, and he won his first fight. And, that was also like a nice little feather in the cap for me, and it was quite an achievement. But hey, the kid's name's Jack Ryan. You guys got to keep an eye out for him. When he gets to the pro ranks, he's going to be a problem. And the gym's growing from strength to strength. Since I joined the club and started working with Cameron, we had about like 50 members. We're closing in on like 80 now, and things are going very good.
Good growth.
And that's like going from being a fighter, just a fighter, having a coach tell me what to do, and I don't have to worry about anything. Just focus on training. Now being a coach, it's like I've got the responsibility to now obviously look after our group of fighters, and at the same time, like I've mentioned it before, it's just that natural evolution from fighter to coach. And now we've basically got the freedom to teach and learn anything that we want to. And being underneath a coach, it's kind of you follow what they want to show you and what they want to teach you. But now that we're in charge, we can kind of bring anything to the table that we want to. And myself and Cameron, we gel very, very well together. And, we spend a lot of time together speaking about what we want to teach the guys, how we want to teach it, and how we want to integrate the grappling and the striking together so that we're all on the same page. So what we teach one, we teach all, and it's like once the amateurs start to come in and the numbers start to grow in that sense, it's going to be easier for us to implement game plans and strategy and things like that. So we're kind of building a little bit of a Yorkai system here. And it's nice to see how everyone's picking up on it, and they're starting to grow and get better at it. And it's like a dream come true, It's so fulfilling and satisfying to see it. So, and I mean, the boys, they understand what myself and Cameron are looking for in a team and fighters, and like the culture in the gym and everything. We're creating something unique, especially in the area where we're at. We're in Paul, which is very much like I said, like a rugby kind of town. And, it's very, they're very much like big on the schools and like building the youngsters, and they're very like traditional and conservative and so on. So like bringing MMA to Paul is, they look at it like, these guys are fighters, they're brutes and so on. But we kind of showing them the honorable side of the sport and the humble side of the sport. And we're not actually these Neanderthals that are there trying to beat the crap out of each other. We're actually teaching these boys respect and giving them self-confidence. And a lot of the guys that have come to our gym, some of them have been bullied and so on. And, we're helping them with that self-confidence, and they're actually able to stand up to these, not stand up to them and go and be violent or anything, but they're able to deal with the situation better. They're leaving the gym feeling happy and happy with themselves. And they feel like they found a place that they can be themselves, and they don't have to worry about anyone like picking on them or anything like that. And then also for the adults, it's like we're building a little bit of like an MMA community the side of the world, and that's cool to see. Not just are we a group in the gym, but we go out places together with the team. We go have picnics, or we'll go whatever the case may be, as long as like we're together and we're moving around as a group. And that, I think, is like what's most important to the people, and especially here in this area. Community is big, and and we're building something unique here, and it's starting to now cross over into the schools. And the business partner that Cameron's business partners recently sat down and spoken to one of the top schools here in the area, Paul Boys. I'm sure y'all would know the school that I'm talking about. And they like one of the elite schools in South Africa, and they interested to have us come to the school and do demonstrations and maybe see how we can integrate the MMA techniques and stuff with the way the guys play rugby and things like that, because Cameron's already done that with professional rugby teams previously in his career, and we've got 1 or 2 professional rugby players that are actually at our gym and they love it. So yeah, it's something good and great, and I love to be a part of it, and I'm very grateful for what the opportunity Cameron's given me to be a part of the team, and it's great, and I can't wait to see what's going to happen in a year's time. We've got plans to maybe franchise and spread out, and they've spoken to me to maybe go and take over one gym, or if the opportunity comes up, they've got me first on the list. So you never know, maybe in a year's time or so, I might have my own gym. So we'll see what happens. There's a lot of opportunity, and there's a lot of how can I say, what's the word I'm looking for? But like a lot of growth and a lot of opportunity, and there's a good future for your guy.
Potential.
Magdane.
Yeah, you can say that.
Magdane.
That's good. I'm excited.
Let me come to you, because obviously before I go to promote the backer body link that you got going on, we're going to talk about that at towards the end of the show. But Magdane, if you got any questions for Adrian, he's got upcoming fight that's coming up, and we'll go around the table and get questions for you guys for Adrian.
So Leroy dropped this one in earlier on. Let me just pop it up there. So he just said, "Yo, Adrian, how's the camp going, and where can people go to help out with costs?" But on the back of that, I also want to add, how's the camp going, as well as managing all of this, as now being a coach and finding the time to have the focus on yourself and your own game, as well as planning and prioritizing everything that you need to do with these kids and what your responsibilities are now, because that is a massive change, going from fighter to fighter coach, and being able to work through that.
Yeah, no, look, it's not an easy task having to manage a group of guys and then still take your classes and then still get your own training in and stuff. But that's why I say I appreciate Cameron so much, because he's kind of like, we've sat down and he's spoken. He's like, listen, give me the reins of your training camp, and I'll make sure you get all the training. I'll make sure you get all the sparring partners. All I want you to do is I want you to focus on doing what you need to do at the gym, and you put in the work. And our business partner, his name's Reno, he's helped me a lot as well with the admin things, like the backer buddy and getting sponsors together. So we've got a real good chemistry going, and I haven't missed the training session. I don't feel like, I mean, when I joined up, I thought that this is going to be difficult. How am I going to do this? But as time went by, Cameron, he's reassured me, and we've got a good training camp going, and I'm focusing a lot more on my grappling side of things, because obviously Cam, he's a grappler, he's a black belt. He recently got his black belt, so that's one of the areas in my game that I wanted to improve on, and now I'm actually in a place where it's like, now I've got a chance to actually do that. So no, it's good, man, and I wouldn't say I'm lacking in any sense. And I mean, the boys are so eager to be a part of the camp. So I've always got bodies around. The guys are keen to work, and it's not like I'm walking into the gym and I'm like, okay, what do I do now? We've got a set plan. Cam speaks to me every day, and he's like, okay, I want you to do this today. Please get this in, And then we've got our assistant coach, Matthew, who I've actually taught to hold pads for me. And I'm quite impressed with the way that he's caught on with it. And it's pretty cool how we also discuss the combinations and how we want to do this. Okay, this is what we want to use in the game. And it's quite funny, because usually the guy on the pads, the one that's shouting at you, hey, do this, do that. But now I'm on the other side of the pads eating, and I'm actually telling him, no, hold the pad like this, do this. That's how we must move, blah, 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 blah. So it's interesting, and it's nice, because it's not just, it's focused on me, but at the same time, it's an opportunity for everyone else around me to grow and learn and gain that experience as well. So it's good. And like I said, we found a good groove and a good chemistry together as a team, and I think we're going to find a lot of success. And I'm excited. I still have good hope and good confidence that I'm going to get the chance at that championship belt, and I have confidence that I'll definitely have it thrown around my shoulder one day. For sure.
Yeah, well, we'll be rooting for you, man. Cross, you got anything for Adrian before we come to Yao?
Let me just jump in real quick. I just want to say at the back of that, you're going from strength, And from speaking to you a year ago when this first started and when you were first getting into it and where you were at then, personally, I don't know if the boys can too. Like, you're still the same Rayo that we know and love, but you can also see the growth, brother. Like even in yourself, like you
100%.
and you're probably seeing this in training, like going from being a fighter to being a coach. You're looking at how can these guys do things to protect themselves, and it's probably give you a different perspective in how you approach a fight too. You know what I mean? Just because you're looking at this from a different angle to them, you can really see it in, let's say, your aura, and how you come across now is different to how you came across when we spoke. You mean, like I say, you're the same guy, but I can see you're more.
You know what it is. You know what it is. It's maturity. That's exactly what it is. It's mature. I've matured as a fighter, and being a coach. It's not just that selfish attribute where I'm a fighter. I need all the training. It's all about me. You know, you've got other guys around you now as well. So it's definitely matured me a lot as a fighter and as a coach. And you don't like. As a fighter, you put a lot of pressure, like an extreme amount of pressure on yourself as a fighter. But when you see that pressure being put on other people, it's like it's not necessary. I mean, what is the one reason why we do this? It's because we love it. It's our sport, it's our passion, it's the thing that we love to do. You know, it's not a chore to us. Like I tell Cameron every day, I say, I love what I do. I don't feel like I'm working a day in my life. It's exactly where I want to be, exactly where I need to be. And if I can project that onto the guys that we're teaching, you know, like the main thing is just enjoy it. At the end of the day, it's a journey. It's you can turn this into whatever you want it to be, you know. And putting pressure on yourself, it's like you're putting those blinders on, and it's like you're only focusing on this one thing. But if you take it off and you step back and you look at the big picture, you know, there's so much to gain from it, rather than just being hard on yourself all the time. And that's one thing that I struggled with as a fighter. I was always hard on myself, you know, and that's why I think I have the record that I have. It's up, down, up, down, up, down, because sometimes I'm like, cool, you're the best in the world. But then sometimes it's like I'm hard on myself, and it kind of breaks the confidence. It actually counteracts, you know, what you're actually trying to get out of it. So definitely maturity and having that time to sit and think about things now. And yeah, I mean, it's part of the game and the evolution. Like I said, I love to use it. It's the evolution of fighter to coach, and you start to learn those smaller details, and also you learn that yes, you're working hard, but you're working smart as well. You know, it's not just about hard work, go against the grain all the time, come home with blue eyes and bleeding, and you sore here, and you got all these.
I mean, jabbing yourself in the face.
That's what I say.
That was an accident. It was actually a takedown. It was a takedown, and I cleared the legs, and I kind of just went popped myself in the eye. But yeah, so you learn to work hard but smart at the same time. I don't really give this guy much praise anymore. But Conor McGregor once said on the Ultimate Fighter, he says it was something along the lines of upgrading the software without damaging the hardware, and that's quite I like it because it's true. A lot of the times we're just working hard all the time, and we don't step back and think, look, I can actually do this in a different way where I don't have to use much energy, but I still retain all that knowledge, you know, and I can still learn something without having to kill myself. You know, I can go do as many sprints as I want to do on the field and get fit that way. But for me to learn something, you know, if I'm tired and I don't feel like I can have the energy to do anything, I'm not going to learn anything. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you start to learn, and like I say, I go back to it. It's just maturity and experience at the end of the day, and you want to share that with these boys that don't know that yet. So yeah, no, it's good. I'm really enjoying this journey. It's great.
Yeah, man. Hopefully, a few people picked something off of that cross. I don't know if you got anything for Adrian here about his upcoming fight. You got something from him?
So my question is more so looking. How do you mentally? Where do you go, and how do you look at your own game and figure out where you need to work at, and how much time you need to put into that, and also not allow the skills you have to diminish? Like, because I know a lot of times it can be very hard for, you know, people to look at themselves and see like, all right, how will somebody attack me? What do I need to shore up to make myself a more complete fighter?
So it's an interesting. It's an interesting question that you said like that. I actually sat down and had a little discussion with our business partner, with the business partner Reno, and we're discussing the sponsorships and stuff. And he brought up a point. He was like, if you have to draw up a table and you have to put all your skills on the table, and you say, let's say, boxing, kickboxing, Muay Thai, wrestling, jiu-jitsu, or whatever, all the arts. And he says you had to rate each one out of 10. What would it be? And then obviously we gave the ratings and so on. Obviously my striking is better than my grappling and so on. And then he said, why don't you focus more on the ones that you've rated lower, and then maintain what you've got already? And he says, and in turn, it blew my mind the way he said. And he says, and in turn, those points that you are lacking in, as they increase, it will give you an increase overall in your whole MMA game. And that made me think. And I was like, okay. And I mean, I told Cameron the other day, obviously we can still learn new things and learn new skills, but we're at a point where we have enough ability in certain areas that we just need to kind of perfect it and sharpen it up. But then there are areas where we may be lacking, and that's where we need to work hard. So finding the time now, that's probably the biggest challenge, because you're having to work around all these other priorities and stuff. But like I said, having a team of guys that are eager to train, they're eager to learn, it makes my job easier, having to find the time slots to train. Because if I've got a group of guys, maybe their level of skill isn't where it needs to be, but they're eager to train and they're eager to learn. That's where I can go and jump in and I can train with them, and I can learn something as well, and I can, get the work in that I need. And then myself and Cameron, we set time aside to train together, and we get the coaches together, so we're all learning from each other at the same time. So yeah, it's a difficult task, and mentally it can be a bit straining, because you think, flip, I'm lacking here a little bit, I'm lacking there. But as soon as you step onto the mat and you come up with a plan and you say, okay, right, this is how we're going to do it, we're going to execute it, it gives you that confidence and that reassurance that, okay, we're moving in the right direction and we actually are going up the steps the way we need to. And at the end of the day, like I said, I'll say it again, it's definitely maturity. Because I can tell you now, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, if I was lacking somewhere, I would have thrown all my toys out the cot. I would have been like, what the fuck's going on? My career, all these things. But now, looking at it that way, and you've got that reassurance and that support from your team, and everyone's there, and we're all trying to work towards the same goal, it just makes it that much easier. So yeah, it's a challenge, but we're moving in the right
I can't believe Adrian is not a hothead anymore. This brother used to come.
I'm still a hothead. Hey, let me tell you. I'm still a hothead. It's just I know that I need to holster my gun sometimes, and sometimes I need to put it on. It's funny that you say that. Yesterday, after our MMA class that we had, I had like this proper like techno hard house, like pumping in the gym, and the guys were like going through like ground and pound rounds and smashing the bag, and like energy was high. It was all hyped. And then after that, I told them, go do your runs. And I quickly switched the music to like the slow ambient music. And then I like brought down the tempo. And then I told them all to line up. And I just turned everything off. And it was quiet. And everyone was standing there. And it was like this awkward silence. And I'm just staring at them. And then I started to laugh at them. And they were like, it feels weird. Like, what's going on? And I told them, I said, you guys need to learn how to switch it on and switch it off. Because when you get into a cage, and there's this loud noise all around you, and your nerves start to kick in, and then you gotta calm yourself down. So that switch is what I'm working on with myself as well. Like, you don't have to be. Yes, you need to be ready, because anything can happen, but you don't need to be walking around ready to rip someone's head off all the time. There's a moment, there's a time for everything. There's a time to be relaxed. There's a time to be hyped up. There's a time to fight, and there's a time to back away. You just need to know and learn when to switch it on, when to switch it off. And I think the power lies in that. being able to switch it on, switch it off. Otherwise, you're gonna get guys like Yuri when he sees someone else won his fight and he calls him a fraud like 10 times for one. And you waste your energy for that. You know what I mean? So, and I think that also like comes with experience and time. And I mean, I've got guys in the gym, they just want to fight. They just want to fight. And I was that guy too. And it's like, hey, slow it down. Your time's going to come. Just, just switch it off for now. And we'll tell you when to switch it back on again. So yeah, it's good.
You got something for Adrian? You got something for Adrian?
So, with your year-long journey so far, which fighters have impressed you, and is there anyone that I should be looking out for the next time I'm at the PI? Which fighters do you have coming out of Yokai?
At the moment, we don't have anyone yet for the pro ranks, but there is definitely guys that have potential. First of all, our guy that just made his debut as an amateur, Jack Ryan. Go check him out. He doesn't really have much of a following yet on social media or anything. But if you go onto my page, I did put a post up of his fight and some highlights. So check that out. That kid he's got talent. He works hard. He's got the right mind for it, and he wants to take it far. And like myself and Cameron, we take him seriously. He takes us seriously, and he's definitely going to be one that you'll see in the future. That's Jack Ryan. And then there's another boy. His name's Ruben. He's 15 years old at the moment, and I'm telling you, the guy's almost 2 meters tall. And that's the kind of genetics that's out here in Paul. There's that rugby genetic. But this kid, there's something about him. He's very soft still. He needs to learn to be tough, but I think it's with his age. But there's something about him that I'm just waiting for him to come of age, and he's gonna switch. And I think he's got a lot of potential as well to eventually get there. But I'm not going to say anything about pro just yet because I want to first see what happens. But he's definitely a good talent. And then we've got a boxer named Matthew Kinder. He's got his first amateur fight for us as well coming up now on the 5th of April, which is a week before my fight. That man's got hands, and I've been working with him with his boxing, and yeah, that guy is sharp and also got the right mindset. He's got the right work ethic, and like he doesn't want to do anything else but fight. So yeah, those three boys I think are going to do very well. And then obviously we've got the rest of our amateur team. We've got Liam and Matt and a few other boys there as well. But for now, we're working with them. But these three boys I think are going to be something for sure. We're already talking about maybe getting IMMAF for Ruben. We want to get him some amateur fights. We've already discussed. There was a few phone calls made trying to get all the necessary details together for not just for him, but for the other boys as well. But yeah, we definitely have some talent and some potential. I just want to tap into those rugby boys and get them to come in because, I mean, these boys are like 14, 15 years old and they're nearly 2 meters tall. Like, I'm jealous. Like, I look at them and I'm like, where's my height? Where's my, flip around. Like, damn, if I had your genetics, bro, I would have been the UFC champ 10 times over. Like, geez. But yeah, in a nutshell, we got a good team. We got a great thing going there. And I can't wait to see in a year's time, maybe even 6 months from now, what these boys are going to look like. So, yeah.
That's awesome. Before we get out of here, I just want to point out to everybody, salute to every single one of you that's been locked in with us so far. Big love. Whether you're watching on live, whether you're watching on playback, make sure you're following all these guys that's on the screen. We got the Rambling Dad, we got Head Kick Pod, we got MMA Normally, Crossover MMA, Kick him in the Head, Making the Walk, and of course the Fight Week Show. And make sure you're also following Adrian Rayo Sanchez on his socials. Make sure you follow him on his page. He's doing some fantastic work. And make sure that you look out for his upcoming fight, April 10th, I believe the fight's going to be. And he's got
UFC 122.
He's got, Leroy just put it right there. All the links in the description. He's got a backer body link going on that he's got going on that's, really going to help him with his fight camp, help him prepare for this fight. So whatever you guys got, it don't matter how small it is, go donate it to help this man's camp so he can get the fight that we all want to see. So big up yourself, Adrian. the Fight Week show is going to always do what they do. You know what I mean? We appreciate everything you bring to the table. Salute to you. And like I said, we're going to put the links in the description for the people to go over there and donate to the Back the Body link that he's got going on straight to his page so he can reach his targets and help him through his camp. People, big love to you. Big love to McDame. Big love to Cross. Yao as well. Big love to you, my brother. And Adrian, you never make it difficult. You always pull up to the Fight Week show and talk on Dust Up Shakedown. Now we fuck with you heavy, and then we're going to be rooting for you in your upcoming fight, brother. Thank you very much, people. And then, yeah, people, up onto the next video. Yeah, that'll be tomorrow for the prediction show. Hopefully I can get another dog of the week.
Yeah, you're muted, brother.
Hasta la vista. We're out. We're waiting for you out.
Hey guys, this is John Anik from the UFC. You're watching the Fight Week show. Please subscribe. Not now, but right now. Subscribe to the Fight Week show. We'll see you guys on the road soon.